Welcome to episode 19 of the Formidable Genealogist Studio. And I want to do a little bit of a deeper dive into the new beta feature on Ancestry called Ideas. So, pretty much all of the genealogy platforms are heavily focused on AI research assistance with various levels of success. Let's take a look at what Ancestries is doing now. So I played around with it just a tiny bit before I started this, and let's take a look and see what it comes up with here. So it's now at the top of every profile. It says ideas. So I've got my great-grandfather here, John H. Jensen. I'm going to click on ideas. It looks like it's heavily trying to get you to use tags. So it wants you to set research status tags. Most of the websites are wanting you to do that so that you can easily find what you're working on and try to simplify your research workflow. So let's see what it says if I put C tags. Says that he is well documented with multiple primary sources supporting his birth, marriage, death, and burial, along with comprehensive census records spanning his adult life in South Dakota. And then it's giving me ideas of tags that I can add to this tree to organize it. That he is a well documented person. I can apply that. That I have original sources and his birth is documented. And then you can also view more suggested tags. I'm going to go back to the second option, which is unique personal details that I can use as tags as well. And it comes up with that he had a silver wedding anniversary and he had a golden wedding anniversary. So I can apply these tags. Again, not always the most useful thing, but they are trying to give us tools to become more organized. The main one I'm interested in for anybody that I'm researching would be the bottom one, ready to take on bigger tasks. And that is going to give you ideas of where to research further. So I'm going to see what this one has to say. It's analyzing the records and seeing where there might be gaps of additional things to research. And then it's checking the records on Ancestry to give me next steps. So first, it's saying to locate military service records. It notices that he does not have any military records. He does have the World War I and World War II draft cards, which doesn't indicate he served, just that he had to register for the draft. So that would give me an option to start searching there. It says that there are no newspaper citations that exist in there, despite marriage, death, and residence events documented elsewhere. Now, this is an indication that I should be adding that information into the profile of his timeline. I do have images uploaded, but I don't have them listed here in his timeline, and I should do that to make it more complete. I can verify land and property records. Okay, that gives me more options there as well. Now, each time you click on these things, it's going to give you fresh results. It's not going to give you the same ones again. Right before I started recording, just to see what this does, I clicked on this and it suggested that I look for naturalization documents for him, which he was born in South Dakota, so that doesn't make any sense. And I was going to point that out in this video, but it didn't do it again. So it's learning. So those are some options. And then I can go here and click on like start researching, and it will pull up an action plan. It'll tell you to search newspapers.com or to check local historical society collections. I doubt it's going to steer you to any other websites, but it does tell you to go local. So that's interesting. I'm going to pull up John Shankland here. He's my fourth great grandfather, and he is a brick wall. Let's see what it has to say about him. I'm not that into the tags thing. That's not really my jam. But let's see what it says for next research steps. So it says search 1810 to 1825 New York Census records. They would document John's household composition and occupational details during his American residence. Now, looking here, I do have 1810, his U.S. federal census, and he died in 1825. So that is a legitimate thing to try. And here it's going to give me an action plan to search directly on the 1810 census for New York on Ancestry, or the 1820 census. I already have the 1810 in here, so it's not doing a very good job of referencing what I have. So, possibly helpful, not always. Let's look and see what it does for another fourth great grandfather, Sanders Perry. He is a brick wall. I have not been able to find where he came from, even though he was well established in Schenectady, New York, in the early 1800s. So let's check on ideas here. Again, I'm going to skip the tags thing. Don't really care. All right. It says I should search Iowa newspapers for a death notice. So I look down in here, and that appears correct. I do not have anything from newspapers.com saved in here for his death. And he did die 1884 in Iowa at the home of my third great grandmother, Mary Perry Shankland. So I could start that. I could look for marriage records for his second wife. And I could verify in the 1880 Iowa residence with the census. The thing is, that's already out here. I already have him in the 1880 census saved in here. So it's not always giving us the best options here. And it is still a beta feature. So hopefully it will get better with time. I look for the second marriage record for second wife for the action plan. Search Schenectady County records. Query marriage records 1820 to 1850 in Schenectady, New York for Sanders Perry marriages. You can see right here that his second wife, Sarah Lockwood, he had a daughter named Sarah E. Perry. So it would be earlier than that, 1842 typically. And then search other collections too. Unfortunately, it does not link directly into any of those collections. I'm hoping it will in the future, but as of now, it's fairly limited. But it can give you some ideas as long as you understand that it might be suggesting things that don't really apply, like immigration information and naturalization for somebody who was born in South Dakota and lived their whole life there, or for looking for records that are already in your tree. So I recommend you give it a try, see if it is something that might be helpful, because as genealogists, we need to just try everything, leave no stone unturned, because you never really know where the best records will be and where it'll trigger some idea. So give it a shot.